What do you collect? I collect UGR, while my brother collects Pokemon and sister collects her ex-boyfriend's hair samples. What totally normal names would be cruel to name your child in 2020, and why? When it comes to Finnish names, the worst ones probably are Fanny and Rape. My grandpa has a good friend is Rape, and that name was totally okay in mid-50s before the English language spread all over. You get a $5 billion bounty placed on you for 48 hours. If you survive, you get the money. Everyone on Earth knows about the bounty. How do you survive? I have a doppelganger in my city. I find this person, drug them, and dump them in my house to be found. It will be much easier to hide out when everyone thinks someone already got me. Apparently it's an extremely close match. My last boss, who I'd worked for 5 years at that point, passed this person on the street and wondered why I ignored him, and when I started smoking. What do people think is healthy but really isn't? Activated charcoal. It's amazing if you've been poisoned, but it absorbs good nutrients and medications as well. I'm getting so sick of seeing it in everything. What have you purchased that disproves the old adage money can't buy happiness? Vacations. Being able to go anywhere anytime. Explore, live in a nice hotel, have other people make your food and clean your room. Travel brings happiness, and it costs money. Women of Reddit, what is something about men that confuses you? What does it feel like to stick your dick in something? What's a comparable feeling? Imagine if your finger had about 10,000x the nerve endings, but just at the last knuckle and fingernails aren't a thing. That's somewhat equivalent. Now imagine that feeling, attached to your groin and the feeling radiating deep to your core. Ejaculation has the same heart-stopping sensation as a good sneeze, as well as a evacuating feeling like a good poop or like when you finally pee, after holding it for a long time. But again, all this radiating outward from your core in the direction of, and through this groin appendage, almost convulsing at times. Your whole body gets hot, and there's a brief moment almost like passing out. Then reality comes flooding back, and as you catch your breath and recover. For people looking to eat more in 2020, what are your go-to home-cooked meals that you make on a regular basis? Roast a whole chicken. Have chicken and veggies/potatoes one night. Make a chicken sandwich with leftovers the best day. Maybe mix up some leftovers with tomato sauce and put it with pasta. Simmer the chicken carcass and giblets in a pot and make some soup with a little bit of the leftover chicken and rice. Another crowd pleaser is meatloaf, roasted broccoli and mashed potatoes. Mom, you're on Reddit. What is a weird hobby that you've been hiding from your family/friends? I write erotica stories for myself, but the system I have in place is so convoluted and bizarre I can't let any of the people in my life know about it. Insomniacs of Reddit, what helps you sleep? I have major insomnia because of my schizophrenia. My mind just can't turn off at night. I have not had a sleep schedule since I went crazy 10 years ago. For Christmas this year I got a huge weighted blanket and holy shit it works. I can actually lay down at a decent hour, go to sleep in 15 minutes. I can actively feel my mind fighting against the weight of the blanket, but it just starts sputtering out, and then there is actual silence and I go to sleep. Because of my disease I also wake up about 8 times a night, and sometimes I can't go back to sleep, but the weighted blanket makes me stay asleep. I can't believe it. I haven't slept this well this consistently in almost a decade. I absolutely love it. I can't recommend it enough. How do you get an obsessive crush out of your head? Get to know them/talk to them. You'd be surprised how quickly crushes go away once you find out what kind of person they are. Or it could backfire, and you like them even more. You have been shot. You have about 5 minutes till death. What do you do? Writhe in agony and tell someone close to make sure Manny pays back the $20 he owes me. You're not getting your money, bitch. You're being interrogated, and so far you've held strong. What song do they play on repeat that breaks you? The op part of the Gangnam Style song, but in repeat, and without the Gangnam Style. Gym goers of Reddit, what is something, protocol, etiquette, tips, etc. that New Year resolution should know about the gym? 1. Re-rack your weights. 2. Don't leave your weights on the bar. 3. After you are finished, return the weights. Remember that before you can get into heaven you have to do a single squat under all the weight you left racked like a dickhead. Hey Reddit, when did your something's not right here gut feeling ever save you? I went to hospital with shortness of breath and my heart racing. They did a chest x-ray, blood test for blood clots, ECG, and a few other tests but all came back normal. After observing me overnight everything still looked good. Oxygen saturation was perfect, my heart rate was still a bit elevated but nothing too crazy, and it seemed that it was likely leftover symptoms from a bad virus that I'd had a week or so earlier. The ear doctor asks me how I would feel if they send me home, and I just had a bad feeling about it all. I told him as such, and that I had no real basis for it, except that I just felt off about it. He said fair enough, let's try one more test, and if that comes back negative then we'll send you up to general medicine, and see if they can track something down. The test was a VQ scan that found despite all other tests showing no results for blood clots, I actually had a whole bunch of them in both lungs. I ended up with a diagnosis of unprovoked bilateral pulmonary embolisms, and I'm on blood thinners for life. Super grateful both for the bad feeling and the ER doctor who was willing to listen to it. What's the worst thing Neil Armstrong Colb said when he stepped on the moon? Stay silent, stare into the camera as he takes off his helmet.